I found a group of Europeans there, chatting, laughing, taking whiskey.
Happy about it?
Yeah, in celebration. I was born at a place called Egerton in Embu, and at this particular moment is in a location called Gaturi. At the time I was born, there was no educated person who could talk of the birth date or the date of birth. But from my oral research, it looks to have been between 1944 and 1942. I grew up at that place I'm calling Egerton. I went to school in 1951, and at that time, parents were not very interested in taking children to school. In actual fact, my parents had refused until the church, this was Kibogi, African Anglican Church, AAC. They are the ones who decided that I must go to school because I looked not just a grown-up, but overgrown. And they wanted everybody educated around that area. And my parents had refused. So they came one day and ransacked my father's home. And when my father came home, and his wife told him, we can't cook, we can't do anything because all our pots, our nguans have been taken by the church. And he furiously asked, why? And he was told, because Mwaniki has not gone to school and the church wants him there. So I went to school, really not because my parents had the will of taking me to school, but so as to rescue their confiscated.
Something interesting, that there was a church called African Anglican.
Yes,
What was that?
African Anglican Church, AAC, and that was the only one around my home. There was no Catholicism or any other denomination. Then that is the current day Anglican Church, or ACK. When I went, that I said it was 1951.
Yes.
In 1953, both that school and the church were burnt down. And that is when I started realizing there was a problem. So trying to find out, I was told it was burnt by a people called the Mau Mau. And the Mau Mau, at that time it was not clear to me who they were. But later I came to learn they were Africans just like ourselves who were fighting the white man and saying the white man and all what he brought should go back to his home, and we the Africans should retain our entity as Kenyans. As far as I was concerned, it was Kenyans. I thought it was the whole of Kenya, which was in that movement. It is much later I came to realize that actually even an area as close to us as Mbeere, they are to our south, they were not very much interested in that movement. They didn't even know it. And the actions came to prove later that really they were not apart. After they burned the school and the church,
And the church, yes.
we had to move out and nobody guided us as to where to go. Because I loved education very much, and I loved school. And this time, let me also say, my father, after letting me go to school, had already gone to work to a place called Kirikiri. That's what we used to hear, Kirikiri. That was Gilgil. So at the time the school was banned, my father was not anywhere. And my two mothers did not know what to do. So it was me to look for where to get the next school. And I came towards Manyata. Manyata now was closer to what I might call a government. Because at that time we were not really aware of who the government was. It was, those knew government because of Kigali AAC also. Because the Kibogi church that was burned and the school were children of the mother church in Embu, Kigali. And Kigali is still there today. It's the place where there is one large church, the mother church of all the Anglicans in Embu, plus a teachers training college, which is still functioning, called Kigali. So coming towards Manyata, which was closer to Kigali, I was coming to what I might call civilization. And there were schools. There was one called Kedangarire. At Kedangarire, I learned for a month or two. Then it was threatened with banning, like Kebogi.
By the same people?
By the same Mau Mau. And now I had known there was people called Mau Mau. Then came 1954. Now I had to move from Kedangarire to Kianjokoma. Kianjokoma now had become a meeting place of people of Gaturi, my location, Gandori, and Kagari. Those three locations each had an office or a home guard. Actually, it was a home guard. There were home guard stations at Kianjokoma. By implication, then there was better security there than Manyata. I mean, these ones I called Kedangarire or Okebogi, which had already been banned. The home guard were the Africans, men, there were no women, who had been convinced by the white man that the Mau Mau were not doing the right thing. They were enemies, and they were bringing enemies of the white man, of course. And also, they were sort of destroying the civilization the white man had already brought. Now, when we went to Kianjokoma now, where there was better security in the sense that the Mau Mau would not harass us and they would not ban our school. And anyway, we did not have a school. It is the schools of, or the students of the schools which were near Kianjokoma that came together. That is, I can remember, Kavotere, not Kavotere, those who had been at Kebogi, those who had been at Kedangarire. There were others at another place called Gituara or Itongure. And I think there was another one which was a part of Kagari. But the point is, the students of those 3 or 4, it was not very clear, had taken refuge, so to speak, at Kianjokoma. Now there was not school. Yes. So what we did is we would look for an empty shop or a shop under construction whose owner and abandoned it because either they had been captured by the government and taken to detention, or they had refused to complete it because they went to the bush as part of the Mau Mau force, or now they were home guards. And if they were in any of those, they were not in a position of running a shop.
Yes.
So we would invade those empty shops. And then, of course, classrooms, yes. But in the long run, somebody would come from nowhere and tell us, you guys, this is my shop. Can you move out? I want to utilize it now. So we would be thrown out and we would look for another one. When we were thrown out of 3-4 shops of that nature, we decided to build our own school. We decided to mow down a big forest of waterback trees, black water. Yeah, we burnt down the underground or the undergrowth so as to see the big trees. And then we cut down those trees and prepared an area for building a school there. And actually, then our parents, especially women, because men were not anywhere.
What happened to the men?
The men, I said, were either home guards, forest gangsters, they had joined the Mau Mau movement, detainees, because their men had now divided into those 4 groups and they were not useful. The women helped the teachers, and then we, the students, we loved to learn. So each one would use the strength they had, whether she was a boy, she was a girl or a boy. And we cut down. I told you first we burnt the undergrowth because it was quite thickly there, so as to chase the snakes and the other animals there, and also so as to clear the ground so that we could now see the trees, the stems. Then the boys would come with axes and we would start cutting. Most of the work actually was done by the students. We built a school with 4 classrooms. 4 classrooms. And actually, that was now standards 1, 2, 3, and 4. That is what meant a primary school. Because the next stage, when you became a standard 5, after doing common.
Did you do common?
Yes, I did common.
When?
1954.
Okay.
Now, after doing the common 1954, fortunately, I'm one of those who passed. And I even remember we came to sit for the examination at Kigali, because there was no center at Kianjokoma, because the government did not know Kianjokoma.
Yes.
You hear that was an improvisation of women and their sons and daughters. Yeah. So the center was Kigali. And that is the first day I passed Manyata so as to come to Kigali. Because in standard 4, everybody looked at me as their leader. And actually, let me say, in the whole school, because what I did say is, as we struggled, our teachers were trained slowly by the government, being taken as detainees or as home guards. And then you would find the teachers were just becoming fewer and fewer. And by 1954, we had only one teacher in that school, a man called, what is his name, I'm forgetting. Yeah, and funny enough, he is still alive. We used to call him Mr. Kiora. Kiora wa Kasoko. Now I can't even remember. Kiora Kasoko is the only one who was left. All the other teachers disappeared in those other holes that I told you. Then when he was left alone, he told us, I'm not going to be killed in Gaturi over issues I don't understand. I am going back to my home. And he cycled away. But fortunately, before the last but one teacher was whisked away for detention, we happened to have been coming from lunch together. I was, with the teacher. I was walking behind him. He was called Njamulik Ndwega. Njamulik was the last teacher who handed the school keys, and we were coming together from lunch when he noticed some guys coming, and he realized that those were after him. I did not have any idea that they were after him. So he took out the keys he had. He is the only one who had the keys of the school from his coat pocket, and he threw them like a tennis ball over his shoulder, because he could not have turned. For if he turned, he would have been shot dead. But sensing trouble, he decided not to go with the keys. So he threw the keys to me. And I grabbed them from the air, like you grab a tennis ball, or rather a tenquite, sorry, not a tennis ball, a tenquite. And I handed the askaris, ask, ametupa nini? Hako kafurana kamechukua nini? This time, I was already a kilometer or more away, because when I grabbed the keys, I simply turned and it disappeared. And we had learned to run. We had learned to, when you are running, you don't run in a straight line. You run in a zigzag fashion. So they tried to aim at me. They could not catch me. And several bullets were, I couldn't hear them. They were aiming at me. So now, the teachers, I can't tell whether they had either taken the oaths or been recruited into the Mau Mau movement. It was very secretly being done. There was even a plane that used to fly over here. We used to call it Wanguto, the backbiter. It would fly across here, and it was telling people, like women, mwe aka Aembu, you women of Embu, mutikavenwe, don't be cheated. And then it would talk of how the Mau Mau were bad people, were primitive, were bloodthirsty characters, and that we should not let them rule us or throw out the whites, because they were going to drive us back into primitivity, yes. And that is what the aeroplane was telling us. It would fly at quite low, and I'm sure the fellows who are broadcasting that and quite loud speakers. So we were hearing. Remember, the Mau Mau were very interesting people. Even in the bush, they would hide their identity. So that is where you hear. There are very few people I know by names, and although I was a Mau Mau, simply because they would hide their identity. Because for instance, the chief Mau Mau in Embu, I came to learn later, he was called Nyaga or Kairu. But all through his fighting time, he called himself Kubu Kubu. Sasa ukisikia Kubu Kubu, what is Kubu Kubu is just those big footsteps that has. I took my first oath in 1953, just before my school was burned, and I was coming from school. The second oath, which we took in 54, or I took in 54, just before now, with the villages, or rather, our tribe of villages were dismantled, and then instead we were taken to what we called Ndaki, which the Kikuyu call Ishagi, and the Meru call, it's India who call them Mbeere.
Now, in the villages, how was life?
In the villages, life was just, to use one word, terrible. The unhygienic way of living. Because even many as the people are, especially after we just settled in the villages, there were not even pollution blocks. So you stayed in your condition of wanting to help yourself until darkness came. That is when you would move out with a panga, dig a hole, and help yourself there. Yeah. In these villages, hunger was a big problem. Because even if you had food, like now you moved from a compound like this, where you can see the bananas, and you are taken to the village, you would not be allowed to come from the village and come and pick your bananas. No, you would have to be gated in until the sub-chief or the Mzungu, who would be in charge of that post, would give the home guard permission to escort you to go to your shamba and get food. And you will not get foods like yams or cassava, because those ones take time to dig. You would go and the fellow would look at his watch and tell you 30 minutes. And you know, you are not all having your mashamba near there. Some are far. But if after those 30 minutes, once the wheel was blown, you had to run. Because if you find they have closed the gate that encloses the village, they would not be around too. And when they would become a bit crazy, they would move out and say they are going to search Mau Mau. Sasa wewe utakutwa hapo. You will be the first Mau Mau to be shot. Our life that time, my friends, was very, very cheap. It's just like when you are driving along the road, and I know you are a big driver, if you knock down a dog, do you stand? No. But if you knock down a sheep or a goat, the traffic says you must do what? You must wait until police come. Yeah. But we were like dogs at that time.
Yeah. So when did you become a Mau Mau yourself?
The very first oath.
That made you a Mau Mau?
It made me a Mau Mau.
Did you realize it at the time?
I did, because if I met with an askari, I knew this is an enemy. And several times we met with them. The way now they were trying to shoot me when I did what?
Zigzag.
I zigzagged. Secondly, on my way to, especially from Kianjokoma now, to Kamama, that was quite a long distance. And we would pass through bushes, zigzagging. At times, we would be waylaid by the Mau Mau themselves. And they would demand to know whether we had taken the oath.
One of them.
Yeah, one of them would actually block our route and then demand to know. You had to prove that you are a Mau Mau. Then they would ask you for a book, exercise book. For what? Kusokota, Kiraiko. These guys, because of the cold of the bushes, they survived on Kiraiko, this raw tobacco, rhoda. So, because you are one of them, you would definitely give them the exercise book. Waende wakasokote. Now you will be in trouble with your teacher when you go to school, because you are given the book for your notes. Now you don't have the book.
You donated the book.
Yeah, you donated. And you could never see what happened. You would rather cheat, it got burned, rather than that you donated it. My job as a Mau Mau was guarding. When oaths would be being taken in a place like here, since I was also a boy and a small one, I would be having these wooden wheels we make as children, and I would be driving it from where the oath is taking place to a place like 2-3 kilometers, Mutondole there, and coming back. When you think I'm cycling that thing, I'm not cycling. I'm watching, I'm gathering information. Who is there? And if I saw something suspicious, I would bypass and then turn back. And now come at a faster speed than...
There's trouble there.
Yeah. And then I come and whistle or just signal the guy, because at this time now, if the oath was being taken here, by the gate there would be somebody. So I would start signaling from the road where you saw.
Okay.
And he would tell these fellows, so and so says, even if he doesn't say so and so, it is like I've passed. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. He would say, there is trouble. And I tell you, in 10 minutes, that place would have been so cleared, and the oath takers, and even those who are being given, they would not go out the way they were told the trouble is. They would go the opposite way.
So your work was as an intelligence boy?
Yeah.
Or scouting?
Correct.
Okay.
I was a scout.
What were you discussing as Mau Mau youth?
As Mau Mau youth, we were discussing how to entrench Mau Mau. In other words, protect the men and the women we knew were in the bush, because we knew they were there for our good, for our future. We would, at times, scout and see or hear those who are talking against Mau Mau. Then, in the evening, when we went back, we would tell the fellows who were next to us that Munene is a terrible guy, or he is a betrayer. And you would be asked for proof. You prove what you heard him say, where you saw him, what he was doing, you see. And then that very evening, you get tough visitors who are no-nonsense characters, and they don't want any proof. So when we took the oath, and especially those two, we saw and we actually practiced the swearing that we will never betray them or betray one another. And that if we saw a white man and we had a chance, our work was to kill that person, not to maim.
You kill the white man?
Kill maliza.
Did you hear of people like Kimathi, China?
Yes.
Daimunge, Mwaliama?
Yes. General China, Mwaliama, Kimathi, Kubu Kubu, the one I said, that one I both hand and later saw, but unfortunately I saw him when he was dead.
Kubu Kubu?
Yes.
In what context?
He was, first of all, dead, and then he was being burnt like a piece of yam or a banana.
And you were called to go and see him?
I was not called. I was coming from Kamama. So we were going home from Kamama. And where we were bypassing, unfortunately, on the left side of that place is where Kubu Kubu was being burnt. So remember, there were no phones, or for that matter, even tumeme radios. So to hear any information, you had either to hear from what people are talking, or see with your eyes. So we left school without knowing that Kubu Kubu had been killed. He was not just ambushed, because he was also notorious, and he feared nobody. That's why he was called Kubu Kubu, because when you are hiding, you don't walk with heavy steps, otherwise you are betraying yourself. Tuko pamoja. But yeye, he was so brave that he went boo, 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 saying, who wants me? Who dare? Can you dare? He was a very brave man.
So he was daring them?
He was daring, and actually I'm told, even in the cave, because he was tracked up to a cave in which he was hiding, he really killed several soldiers and Ndai and the others. But at the end, he was overpowered.
Okay.
Then, once he was overpowered, I was told he was tied at the back of the Land Rover with the head in the Land Rover, the legs and the rest of the body on the ground. So in a way you can say he was dragged, and he was taken in several villages so that the people could see him and witness that he was no longer. He was dead, dear. Okay, and that he now had no value. That is why he was dragged.
Okay.
Until now, the last village was Kianjokoma. Now darkness was drawing. So they said now they should finish him and not bury. I'm told it is like they thought if they buried him, he would resurrect. So he had to be burned and to be seen he was ashes. Again, I found a group of Europeans there, chatting, laughing, taking whiskey.
Happy about it?
Yeah, in celebration. Lakini unajua sasa we were not to talk, we just bypassed. And that was the first person I saw being burned. These days it has become common. Apart from Kubu Kubu, now about Kimathi was very famous. We could hear of Kimathi here.
Did you ever see him?
I never saw him. He was a very brave man, that he would go to government establishment, and sometimes he would even take beer or tea with them. And before they discovered it was Kimathi, and on his way back, that's when he would tell them he was Kimathi, and then they would either jump up or some would start urinating on themselves. Kama huyu si ni yule tunasikia. Kumbe We just escaped him by a whisker. Things like those. I would hear of General. Here in Embu we had a Kairu Muchavu.
General Kairu Muchavu?
In
what context?
In the context that he was a very brave warrior. He would attack government stations as a leader, you know, and often he would go and capture weapons. And Kairu I saw finally, yeah, but long after Mau Mau. Actually, he built a home just next to where you have come through, Catergories. That is where the fellow lived.
Okay. But this general whom you came to know, how many battles did he lead?
We never came to that. I tried to interview him. But funny enough, he was very secretive. Even you hear they were generous. When they realize a person like you is asking them questions, they were very selective in what they would tell you. And at times they would plead ignorance. So you needed to face it and revisit and revisit, whose time I did not have. But because they always saw themselves being betrayed. Hata tulikuwa na General Modoni, a woman, but I never saw her. Lakini the name was known everywhere, and I also had it. Yeah, and there was a General Kassam. Kassam, ndio. Kassam hapa Kirinyaga.
Yes.
Now, I also had a hand of him, and later I saw him, Kassam Njogu. Later I saw him having one amputated leg. Yeah, but he is now dead.
These people called Johnnies, who are they?
Johnnies,
Did you see them?
very much, and they almost killed me.
How?
I tell you, twice we were coming from Kamama, and I told you the route we were going,
Yes.
which made us go to the Mbani place. Is it called crematorium? Although we had not had that name. Yeah. We one day came from school, and the 7 of us went by passing. Then we found the Johnny. Johnny were a new set of soldiers the British had brought. The normal soldiers that we knew were normally Africans, and like Askarikanga, the ones we are calling APs today. We knew of Kenya Army, KER, yeah, KER. Those ones we knew. But during the Mau Mau, when they realized we were not winning, a new set of soldiers were brought. Those were more boys, actually, than soldiers, because we had been used to this fattened kanga or kea. Hao walikuwa watoto tu, the way I saw. And they were very swift in running. They were very obedient in obeying orders. I think they were called Fusiliers. Fusiliers. Yes, Fusiliers. But we called them Johnny because that is the name they were using. So one day, as we were coming from school, we found them beyond Kairu. And they were just on the road. You would look and see them and see as if they were not serious. They were not really serious soldiers. Then, as we were passing, si sababu walikuwa na mabuduki, they stopped us. And they told us, you Mau Mau, today you are dying. We were lined up. And actually, they decided to shoot. See, they were called to order by their boss. And then I heard aim. And I knew the next one will be shoot. So, after the first, aim, I would tell the fellows, Jirongi Deremedo. The gun or the bullet does not have eyes. And I think trouble, my friend, teaches people to do. We had not practiced at all. Na kusema hiyo, tulielewanwa. So when the Fusiliers were told to shoot, every one of us fell down. And did not fall down and did stay there. Fall, somerset, zigzag, going to the bush on bananas. The first time we went to a banana graph, and as we were zigzagging, we were proceeding towards our home. So we just had bananas just saying, shoo, 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 shoo. What is that? Bullets. The fools were shooting us even after we did what? I came to learn later that they had been taught every black man in Kenya is a Mau Mau. But shoot. Their job was to shoot. But that one, first of all, was wrong because it was not in Kenya. It was in central Kenya. But since they were not going anywhere else in Kenya, hapo ndipo alijua. And the second time, we met them at the same place, and that was also done. But thank God, they never caught even one of us. So I know the Fusiliers, and I had that experience.
Okay. They almost killed you twice.
Yes.